Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial we are going to be working the upper portion or her body of the angel, and then we're going to make her arms, and then we're going to make her little headband. But we'll hot glue that together after we get her body starched and everything, okay? So let me set this stuff to the side, and you're going to need your yarn or thread. If you're using yarn, I can't get my words out again. If you're using yarn, you just use the hook that yarn recommends, but I'm using a 2mm. But we're also going to need a little bit of a larger crochet hook because we're going to be chaining 3 strands of the thread. So I went with a 2.5. I got it to work. If you need to go up a little bit higher, go ahead. It ain't going to hurt anything. And you're going to need just a handful, just a handful of polyfill. Like, that's probably way too much, honestly. Just a little bitty bit, about that much, because we're going to stuff that into her head. And then you're going to need your scissors, your needle to weave in your thread, and that's it. So let's get our supplies together and get started. Okay guys, to start the middle portion, or the upper portion of her body, we're going to get a slip knot on our hook. And we are going to start with a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slip stitch into that very first chain to form a little ring, and chain 1. And now into that chain 6, we're going to work 12 double crochet. Make sure you're working over your tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, now we are going to slip stitch to that very first double crochet up here. Ow! Just ran that right under my nail. That hurt. I hate it when that happens. I didn't even get the right loops of the double. Alright, slip stitch to that. Now I'm going to pull this chain, or pull this tail, and we'll weave that in later. So to move on to round 2, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work an increase all the way around. So an increase is just 2 double crochets into each double crochet all the way around. So there's 1 and 2. So go ahead and work that 2 double crochet into each double all the way around, and I will meet you at the end. And we should have 24 double crochet. I about said 12. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so I made it all the way around with my increases, so I'm going to go ahead and stop, and I'm going to weave in this center tail. And now we need this to be as closed as we can get, because right there is where the top of that is, and that's right at the top of her head. So we got to make sure that we can get that as closed as we can. So I'm going to grab one of my needles. Ouch. Get that on there. I'm just going to follow it around. By it, I mean like the legs of the double crochets. I'm just going to go all around, under all of them, all the way around. Pull nice and tight so it cinches it up as tight as I can get it. That looks pretty tight to me, so I'm going to come in another few legs. And then I'm going to come back just a couple and lock it down. Cut. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, now to end round 2, we slip stitch to that first double crochet right there. Slip stitch in there. Alright, now we move on to round 3, and round 3 we chain 1 and we just work 1 double crochet into each double all the way around. So go ahead and work your round 3, and I will meet you when we get to the end of round 3. Alright, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I've made it back around, and we are just going to slip stitch to that first double crochet of the round. And then to move on to round 4, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work double crochet decreases over 2 doubles all the way around. So that is yarn over. We're going to go into that first double, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 3 loops on our hook, we yarn over and pull through all 3. And that's a decrease. And that's what we're going to work all the way around. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into the next double, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So just repeat that all the way around for round 4, and I will meet you when we get to the beginning. Or well, when we get to the end, I should say. Okay, so I've made it back around, and I have 2 more doubles to work into right there. Go in, pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, go to the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then we slip stitch to that first decrease right there. Alright, so our little head is coming together. Oops, Daisy, I dropped it. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I got a little wad of Polyfill. Definitely shouldn't need that much, but we're gonna go ahead and begin to stuff this head a little bit and shape it. So I'm just gonna take a pinch and get my tail out of the way. I'm gonna use my crochet hook just to get it started. It's not wanting to go. Sometimes it helps if you ball up the Polyfill. Get it in there. There. I'm going to get a little more in there. That's the cats wanting in. They're mad at me. Alright. Just going to ball this up a little bit and get that in there. Alright. Okay, we can adjust that or shape it in a little bit. What we're going to do now is move on to the next round. and that is round 5. And we are going to chain 1, and we're going to work a single crochet into each decrease all the way around. So we're just working single crochets into the top of each of our decreases all the way around. So go ahead and work all around your round 5, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I made it around and I just singled into that last decrease. So now I'm going to come over and slip stitch to that first single right here. Chain 1, and we're going to move on to round 6. Now round 6, we double into the very first single that we just slip stitched into. Chain 1, double into the next single, chain 1, double into the next single, chain 1. So that's 1, 2, 3 double crochets and 1, 2, 3 chain 1s. So now into the next single, we're going to work a V-stitch. Double, chain 1, go right back in there with a double. Chain 1. And now we're going to work the double into the next. Chain 1, that's 1. Double into the next. Chain 1, that's 2. Double into the next. Chain 1, that's 3. 1, 2, 3. So now we into the next one, we work the V-stitch. 1, chain 1, and right back in there with a double, and chain 1. Now we work the 1 double, chain 1, 1 double, chain 1, 1 double, chain 1. So that's 3 doubles. Chain 1, and then into our last one gets the V-stitch. 1, chain 1, go right back in there with a double. Here's our V-stitch, chain 1, and we slip stitch to that first double crochet. Oops, I lost that. Dang it. Chain 1, slip stitch to that first double. Okay, so now we should have 1, 2, 3 doubles, V-stitch, 4, 5, 6 doubles, V-stitch, 7, 8, 9 doubles, V-stitch. So then 3 V-stitches, and then we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 chain 1 spaces. Okay, so let's move on to round 7. In round 7, we chain 1. Okay, so I've slip stitched to that first double crochet, chain 1, and now to move on to round 7, we are going to work a double crochet decrease with the first part being into the double crochet and the second part being into the chain 1 in between. So yarn over, go into the double, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and now we're going to work the second half into the chain 1. 3 loops on our hook, pull through 3, chain 1. Go into the double with the first half of the decrease, go into the chain 1 with the second half of the decrease, yarn over, go through all 3, chain 1. And that's what we're going to darn it, get off me. what we're going to repeat all the way around. First part of your decrease goes into the double. Second part of your decrease goes into the chain 1. Pull through all 3, chain 1. Into the double. Second half into the chain 1. 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3, chain 1. So that's what we're going to repeat all the way around for round 7, okay? I'll do a couple more with you guys. My chair keeps sliding back. There. Okay, so the first half goes into your double crochet. The second half goes into the chain 1. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1. First half goes into the double. Second half goes into the chain 1. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1. Alright, so just repeat that around, and I will meet you when we get back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm coming back around, and you can see I have that last double and last chain 1. So I'm going to yarn over, go right into the top of that double, work my first half of my decrease, yarn over, come into the chain 1 space for my second half, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1, and we are going to slip stitch right into that very first, right into the top, I should say, of the very, well, dang it. Slip stitch into the top of the very first decrease. There. Now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 decreases. Okay? So now we're going to move on to round 8. And we are going to slip stitch right into the chain 1 space right after that first decrease. Okay? Now we're going to chain 1. And now the difference, so like the difference between a double crochet decrease and a 2 double crochet cluster is that both parts of the decrease are into, for instance, this pattern into the chain 1 space. So that makes it a cluster. So basically we're doing the same thing right back into that chain 1 space. We're just working it into both parts of it into the chain 1. So yarn over, go right into that chain 1 space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go right back in there, pull up a loop, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, pull through 3, and there's your 2 double crochet cluster. So the only difference between the decrease is that the decrease, the second half, is into an actual stitch. Okay, so that is our cluster. And now we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to do that into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. So we want 4 clusters and 4 chain 1s. So that's 1, and then we go into the next. There's 2. Don't forget that chain 1. Chain 1, there's 3 into the chain 1 space. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now into the next chain 1 space, we're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 1, and go right back in there with 2 double crochet. Now chain 1 and into the very next chain 1 space. I'm not on camera, damn it. Sorry you guys. Alright, into the next chain 1 space, 2 double crochet, 1, 2. Now we're going to work a chain 4 picot. So you chain 4, and then we're going to come back down and slip stitch into that 4th chain from your hook. And then you're going to come right back down into the same chain 1 space with 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Now into the next chain 1 space, we're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 1, go right back in there with 2 double crochet. Okay, so now we are going to work the 2 double crochet cluster, chain 1, into the next 4. Chain 1, 1, chain 1, 2, chain 1, that's 3. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And into the next chain 1 space, we're going to work the 2 doubles. 1, 2, chain 1, and go right back in there with 2 doubles. Wait a minute, did I chain? Yeah, I did. I got confused there for a minute. Back in there with 2 doubles. Okay, so now into the next chain 1 space, we're going to work the 2 double crochet, the chain 4 picot, 1, 2, 3, 4, come back down to that 4th chain and work a slip stitch, and go right back in there with 2 more double crochets. Two double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Lost that stitch. Okay, 1 more double in there. All right, chain 1, and then there's 1 little chain 1 space we need to work into, and we're just going to work a the 2 double crochet cluster in there. Pull through 3, chain 1, and we slip stitch to that first one. And that is the end of round 8. Now this is going to be the sleeves. Just like that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to round 9. Okay, so round 9, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to double crochet decrease with the first part being into the cluster. Can't get my words out. Okay, I was wrong. This is going to be a cluster into the top of the cluster instead of the decrease. Alright, so we chain 1, yarn over, go into the top of that cluster, pull through 2, yarn over, go in, pull through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1. Come to the next cluster, work the cluster again, pull through all 3, chain 1. Into the next cluster, chain 1, and into the last cluster right there before the 2 doubles, we're going to work the cluster into there, chain 1. Okay, so now is where we're going to work the decrease. So the first part of the the decrease, I should say, is into that chain 1 space before the 2 double crochets. So yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, and then the second part, so we've got all these doubles, and then right here is where our cluster starts again, right? So the second half of this decrease is going to go right into the chain 1 after the double crochet, or 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Okay, so yarn over and go right into that chain 1 space after those doubles, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, pull through 3, I lost it, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 1. So there's how we just created our little armhole. Okay, so now we go back into the top of the next 4 clusters with 2 double crochet clusters. 1 and 2, chain 1, pull through 3, chain 1. Into the next cluster with a 2 double crochet cluster, pull through all 3, chain 1. So that's 2, 1 and 2, pull through all 3, chain 1, and we've got one more to work our cluster into. Three loops, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 1, and now we start that 2 double crochet decrease with the first half being in the chain 1 space before all those doubles. Yarn over and then come over, and we're going to go into the chain 1 space after all those double crochets. Just insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 1, and we have one last cluster we can work into with a cluster. Pull through all 3, chain 1, and we're back to the beginning to where we can slip stitch into that first cluster. Okay. So we have the head, the sleeve holes, and we're coming down the body. Okay, so that was the end of round 9, and we're going to move on to round 10, and we are going to work a chain 1, and we're going to work a cluster into the top of each cluster just like we have been. Get off there. Pull through 3, chain 1, go into the top of the next cluster with a cluster. Oh man. Chain 1. Chain 1. Chain 1, and right there's that decrease, but we're going to just go ahead and work into it just like if as if it was a cluster. Yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1. And that's what you're going to repeat all the way around, okay? So just double crochet, or 2 double crochet cluster into that next decrease, and then all the way to the end. And I'll meet you guys at the end. Okay, so I'm coming around to the end there, and I'm just going to slip stitch to my first cluster. If I can get in there. There. Okay, so to move on to round 11, which is the second to last round, we are almost done with the body. We chain 1, single crochet into that cluster, and we're going to chain 1, single crochet into that next cluster, chain 1, get off my thread, single crochet into the next cluster, chain 1, next cluster, single, chain 1, next cluster, single, chain 1, single into the next cluster, chain 1, single into that next one, chain 1, almost to the beginning, single, chain 1, single, chain 1, single, chain 1, single into the last cluster and chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch to that very first single crochet, and that's the end of round 11, and we're starting the very last round of our upper body, and that is going to be a chain 1, 3 double crochet into that single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go right into that next single, so just follow your cluster up and it's right there, with 3 double crochets, and that's what we're going to repeat all the way around, 3 double crochets into each single. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys to finish that off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've made it around with 3 doubles into each single, so now I'm going to slip stitch to that first double crochet, chain 1, pull up a loop, and fasten off, guys. We are done with the upper body. Yay! A little wonky right now, but once we get her starched and her arms in there, now I'm going to kind of, like, I want her head to be maybe not so full. Like, I think I may have accidentally put a little too much polyfill in her head. Maybe I didn't. I think it might be okay. Well, it fluffed out now. See, it's in her body. Get in there. Well, I was gonna try to shape it to where it was a little longer, but I think it's gonna be all right. So go ahead and weave in your tail, guys, and that is it for the upper body portion of our angel. This little part right here. So now what we have left are her arms and her little headband. Alright, so I think we're going to go ahead and just do that in this video to get it over with, get it done, and then in the next video we will starch everything, okay? So go ahead and weave in your ends and come back and we'll get started on the arms and the headband. Okay, so I got my ends weaved in for my upper body, and now what we're going to do is we need to get 3 strands of our thread long enough to where we can put all 3 together and chain 16. So I'm just going to pull up, I'd say a good 1.5 feet, double it over on itself, get it up there, and now I'm just going to cut it at both ends, right like that. So that's probably a good, I'd say it's a good 1.5 feet long chunk. So I'm going to take all 3 strands and I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook, and with my 2mm hook I'm going to try to chain 16. I think I may, yeah, I'm gonna have to go up to the bigger hook. Go in there, and we're going to chain 16. Nope, that still may not be long enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Darn it. I had it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dang it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so now if I pull that tight, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull that out, pull both these ends tight, and then this is what we're gonna glue around the top of her head. Right like that. Okay, so we'll take care of those ends later. Alright, so I'm gonna toss that over there. And now we're gonna do the same thing, but we need it to be a tad bit longer because we're gonna do a chain of 22. So I'm gonna go a little bit longer than a 1.5 feet. Alright, get a slip knot on here and do this chain again, but we're going to chain 22. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, dang it. I was hoping this was going to be long enough, but I may have done it too short. What am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I can do this. And 22. Alright, now pull that tight. And this is what is going to be the arms. So that's just one arm. We got to do that one more time for the other arm. So you can see we loop it inside and bring it back. So you got to do one more. Okay. So get my scissors, cut, cut, cut. I think I did this one just a little longer, so I wasn't really playing chicken. Alright, now we chain 22 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, oh, dang it, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Pull it out, and there's our second arm. And we're done, guys. That is our angel. So in the next tutorial, my next video, we are going to be putting her, well, we're actually going to starch her, and then we're going to pin her down, and then she's going to set, and then we're going to do another coat, and then we're going to hot glue her together. So that's what her arms are going to do. And I put a little kink in them so it looks like she's praying. Like that. Oh, okay guys, give yourself a pat on the back. Because we just finished this, our angel. Alright guys, I hope you guys appreciated that. And let me just tell you guys, in the description box at the very, very bottom, always, in every video, is my email address. Do not hesitate to email me if you guys need help, okay? Because I understand I was probably halfway off camera and didn't notice, and all kinds of stuff. Okay. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.